And as we reported, the clock is ticking to the opening, but we've already been given a glimpse of what we can expect, including an increase in defense spending, but less than previous years. CCTV's Roy Ruttenberg is following developments and tells us more about the numbers.
Over the last 2 decades, China's defense spending has usually increased every year by double digits. There were exceptions. In 2010, it only went up 7.5%. On Friday, the spokeswoman for the Chinese legislature suggested we could see those numbers again this year.
This year, China's defense budget will maintain growth, but the amount of growth will be lower than last year's, between 7 to 8%.
The official figures won't be released until the budget is approved at this year's National People's Congress. The spokeswoman said the numbers are in line with China's national defense needs and fiscal review. Inevitably, some of the money will be spent in the South China Sea. A number of countries have competing claims to the waters and islands there. The U.S. and China have each accused the other of militarizing that dispute. China says its presence there is crucial.
Expanding construction in the South China Sea is extremely necessary. This is something that the Chinese people all support, and they believe that these islands are so far away from our country, from the mainland, and they should have their own ability to defend themselves, and deploying defense installations is a necessity.
Compared to the U.S., China spends 4 times less on its military, even though it has 4 times as many people. China's projected 2016 budget spending is still an increase, but many were expecting more, given the South China Sea tensions and the recent developments nearby in the DPRK. On Friday, China's foreign ministry said it would stand by a recent UN resolution banning certain imports from Pyongyang. Introduced by the U.S. and backed by China, many predict the resolution's enforcement will fall on Beijing. On Friday, the foreign ministry spokesman confirmed that China would not buy any iron ore from the DPRK that would fund its nuclear ambitions. But the spokesman then went on to reiterate Beijing's opposition to Washington and Seoul's plans to move ahead with an anti-missile defense system on the peninsula.
China hopes these countries can proceed with caution so as not to damage China's legitimate security interests.
Military officials from the U.S. and South Korea have begun formal talks about deploying the system. Some fear Beijing's objections could ultimately affect its willingness to enforce the UN sanctions. Roy Ruttenberg, CCTV in Washington.